In this video, I want to share different Japanese knitting patterns as well as Japanese designers with you. I've been fascinated by Japanese knitwear patterns for quite some time now. Its intricate texture, the beautiful lace motifs, and also their attention to detail. Due to the climate, the designs are often light and airy and they look very chic and elegant to me. I also noticed that they often have a relaxed fit. And I also saw quite a number of vest patterns, probably also due to the warmer climate. The Ranunculus sweater by Midori Hirose has been one of the most popular knitting patterns within the last couple of years. As of today, there are more than 26,000 projects on Ravelry for this pattern alone. But besides Midori Hirose, there are other Japanese knitwear designers that are worth mentioning as well, I think. So let's have a look and get started. The first design that I want to show you is the Hitofude Cardigan by Hiroko Fukatsu. And this is a very popular and very beautiful cardigan pattern that already came out in October of 2013. It is knitted in a fingering weight yarn, so she used the Madeline Tosh Merino Light with a gauge of 20 stitches and 32 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle size used is a US 4, which corresponds to a 3.5 millimeter needle. The design comes in 6 different sizes with finished body measurements of 42 to 72 centimeters, which correspond to 15.25 up to 26.5 inches. The name Hitofude, which means single brush stroke in Japanese, implies that you only need one single yarn stroke, so to speak, to knit this pattern. So this is an open front all over lace cardigan that you knit with one continuous yarn strand, so from the top down and in the round. So you knit the upper body and the sleeves first in a large rectangular piece, and then you slowly increase and add the lower part of the body, and this creates a very gentle and beautiful drape. Hiroko Fukatsu has a total of 18 different designs available on Ravelry, but unfortunately she hasn't come out with any new patterns since 2020. Another one that I also wanted to show you because I think it's very beautiful is called Alice, and this is it here, and this one came out in April of 2018. It is knitted with the Holst Garn Super Soft, which is a light fingering weight yarn with a gauge of 24 stitches and 32 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle size used is a US 4, which corresponds to a 3.5 millimeter needle. This design comes in 5 different sizes with a finished bust circumference ranging from 78.5 to 121.5 centimeters or 31 up to 47.75 inches. I think this is a very clever design. It looks very straightforward and almost plain from the front, but if you turn around, you have this unexpected back detail with the gathers. It is a short sleeve pullover with a scooped neck, and you work the neckband first and then work your way down in the round, and you have a contiguous satin sleeve method. So overall, a very beautiful design that I would love to knit in the future. Next up is the KiCiKa by Noriko Ichikawa. This one came out in October of 2020 and is knitted with a fingering weight yarn. The gauge is 23.5 stitches and 34 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle size used is a US 5, which corresponds to a 3.75 millimeter needle. The design comes in 7 different sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 100.5 to 144.5 centimeters or 39.5 up to 57 inches. This pullover is designed to be worn with at least 20 centimeters or 7.75 inches of positive ease at the bust. The design itself is a rather simple drop shoulder pullover with a mock neck, which you work from the top down. You start with the neckline and the shoulders are knitted in the round. Then you divide for the front and back and work back and forth to create the arm openings. And if you reach the point of the underarm, you later join the body and knit up until the hem in the round. Later on, you pick up the sleeve stitches and knit those as well in the round. The design does not include any short row shaping. You can choose between knitting a 3/4 length sleeve or doing a sleeveless version. So I think this one is also a very pretty design, but I think the size range is not really ideal, especially if it is intended to be worn with a large amount of positive ease. So if you tend to knit larger sizes, this will probably not be the right design for you. There are 32 knitting patterns available on Ravelry by Noriko Ichikawa to date. And if we have a quick look at her Instagram feed, you can see that she has a very classic minimalistic style that I personally quite like. Another design of hers that I wanted to show you is called Cocoon Chokki, and it is a vest that came out in April of 2023. It is knitted in a 100% wool yarn. She used the Wool Dreamers La Rinconada, which is a DK weight yarn with a gauge of 18 stitches and 27 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle sizes used are a US 6 and a US 8, which correspond to a 4 and a 5 millimeter needle. This design comes in 9 different sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 99 up to 153 centimeters or 39 up to 60.5 inches. The word chokki is a nostalgic Japanese word for vest, and this more oversized look is supposed to wrap you like a cocoon, hence the name. The design has a loose-fitting wide mock neck and a comfortable silhouette. To start, the back shoulder pieces are shaped to form a back neck drop, then joined at the back neck and worked to the underarms. Stitches for the fronts are then picked up from the back shoulders and worked back and forth towards the underarms before you join and work in the round towards the hem. The neck rib is worked in the round from picking up stitches. And for the ribbed collar, you pick up stitches and then work in the round. The armhole bands are worked at the same time as the back and the front, so the armhole depth can be adjusted, so either shortened or extended, depending on your preferences. So another beautiful design that I absolutely had to show you. Next up is a sock set, and it is the Flowerbed Sock Set by Tate or Yoko. Now the photography alone is so beautiful for this pattern that I absolutely had to include it in this video. But besides that, the 3 different patterns that come in this set are also stunningly beautiful. Let's have a closer look. So the 3 different sock knitting patterns that you get within the set are called Muscari, Jasmine and Susurran, and they are all knitted with Woolly Mammoth Fiberco's natural sock yarn, which is an all-natural, naturally dyed, non-superwash, synthetic-free sock yarn that looks absolutely beautiful, I think. It is a fingering weight yarn with a gauge of 32 stitches and 44 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle size used is a US 1, which corresponds to a 2.25 millimeter needle. The design comes in 3 different sizes. The socks are all worked cuff down in the round with a classic heel flap and gusset construction. And you have those beautiful lace motifs on all of the 3 sock knitting patterns. And the lace motifs come both in a written and a charted form. The designer has a total of 36 different patterns on Ravelry available as of today. Most of them are socks, and there is even one sock set available that appears to also be called the Flowerbed Sock Set, but consists of 3 different sock knitting patterns. But they were also knitted with the same yarn, so the Woolly Mammoth Fiberco Natural Sock, and those also look very beautiful in my opinion. Next up is Flores by Eri Shimizu. This was published in June of 2021 and is knitted with a fingering weight yarn. The gauge is 24 stitches and 34 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. And the needle sizes used are a US 3 and a US 4, which corresponds to a 3.25 and a 3.5 millimeter needle. This design comes in 9 different sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 105 up to 185 centimeters or 41.25 up to 72.75 inches. The suggested positive ease is 20 to 30 centimeters, which corresponds to 8 up to 11 3/4 inches. Now this is a deep raglan pullover that's worked from the top down. The yoke is worked in the round in one piece, and then you separate for the sleeves and the body. You can then choose the sleeve lengths, either do short sleeves or up to 3/4 length, or of course you could even lengthen the sleeves to do a full length sleeve if you would like to do so. I really like the airy and relaxed look of this design. To me it looks like something that you could throw on a summer evening when it's just a little bit too cold to simply wear a top or a tee. The designer has a large portfolio with more than 100 designs published on Ravelry. They are all very beautiful and you should definitely have a look, but I wanted to show you just one more because it simply caught my eye when I looked through her designs because it looks so unusual and pretty. And it is called the Tate to Yoko. To me, it looks a bit like a wrap with a hole for the head, but it is actually called a poncho. So she describes it as a patchwork cape composed of 3 different panels that are worked back and forth and then joined as you go. The design is intended to be worn as a cropped cape, but you can also knit it longer and wear it as a vest, or it is also stated that you could put one of the arms through the neck hole and then fasten the ends with a shawl pin. So you have several different options with this design, which makes it very fun, I think. The next pattern that I wanted to show you is the Felice Blouse by Yuka Tomioka. Now this is a stunningly beautiful design in my opinion, and you can also wear it different ways depending on which side you decide to wear as the front. This design was published in November of 2023 and you knit it by holding 2 strands of a silk mohair yarn together, but you knit them at a very loose gauge of 15 stitches and 23 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle sizes used are a US 6 and a US 9, which correspond to a 4 and a 5.5 millimeter needle. The design comes in 6 different sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 92 up to 132 or 36.25 up to 52 inches. It is intended to be worn with 5 to 12 centimeters or 2 to 4 3/4 inches of positive ease. The blouse is worked from the top down and you start knitting flat. The right and the left side of the front are knitted separately in order to create this front opening. And once the front pieces are joined, you then work the front piece flat in one piece towards the underarm. Then the back shoulder stitches are picked up and short rows are worked to shape the shoulders and the neckline. And once the back is joined at the back neck, it is worked back and forth until the underarm. Then you join the front and the back together and knit seamlessly in the round up towards the hem. You then pick up the sleeve stitches and add a couple more short rows to make a sleeve cup. Then the sleeve is worked in the round while you gradually decrease, and the narrowest part features the lace pattern. And then you increase again to make these beautiful bell sleeves. This is a very feminine and elegant design with the lace and also the bell sleeves. And you should definitely have a look at her Ravelry portfolio. She only has 11 designs on there, but they are all very beautiful. And one more that I wanted to show you is called the Nonna Vest. I think this would be an awesome layering piece to be worn just over a top or maybe a dress or even a long-sleeved shirt. It is knitted with 2 different yarns held together to create a sport weight gauge of 22 stitches and 34 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle sizes used are a US 2.5 and a US 4, which correspond to a 3 and a 3.5 millimeter needle. The design comes in 6 different sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 91 up to 148.5 centimeters or 35.75 up to 58.45 inches. It is intended to be worn with 10 to 20 centimeters or 4 to 7.75 inches of positive ease. The Nonna Vest is a cropped design that is worked from the bottom up in one piece, including the button bands. The body is divided into 3 pieces at the underarms, and each piece is worked upwards to the shoulders, and in the end you join the back and the front with a 3-needle bind off. And lastly, you pick up stitches around the armholes and work in the round in 1x1 twisted rib. I really like this all over lace pattern. I think it would be beautiful to wear in the spring and summer if you choose a lighter yarn, or maybe a blend with a plant-based fiber like cotton or linen. Or if you would opt to use a wool yarn, I think it would also be a perfect transitional piece in the fall months as well. The next design that I want to show you is the Jenna Sweater by Hiromi Nagasawa. Now, I definitely have a bit of a weak spot for striped sweaters, but what makes this one so special is the fact that if you purchase the pattern, you get the option for different stripe versions within it. So you can either do the thicker stripes that you can see here, or you could go with a narrower stripe option. The pattern came out in June of 2023, and it is knitted with a DK weight yarn with a gauge of 20 stitches and 27.5 rows over 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needle sizes used are a US 3, 4, and 6, which corresponds to a 3.25, 3.5, and 4 millimeter needle. There are 7 different sizes available, with finished bust measurements ranging from 106 up to 152 centimeters or 41.75 up to 60 inches. The recommended positive ease is 18 to 30 centimeters, which corresponds to 7 to 12 inches. The design is knitted from the top down. You shape the shoulders first and then continue knitting the upper part of the body towards the underarm, where you then join the front and the back and knit in the round. For the sleeves, you pick up the stitches from the armhole, do the sleeve cap, I guess with short row shaping, and then continue knitting in the round until you reach the cuff. The neck stitches are then picked up from the neckline and you knit a folded collar, which you then sew down on the inside of the neckline. Another designer that I wanted to mention, because she's probably the most popular Japanese knitwear designer, is Hitomi Shida. She wrote the hugely popular book, The Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, which I have a copy of here, and it includes a number of very beautiful lace patterns. I mean, just have a look. It's just so gorgeous. I have yet to knit a lace pattern from this book, I have to admit, but I definitely plan to do so in the future. And if you have a look at Hitomi Shida's Ravelry portfolio, you can see that she has a massive amount of patterns published, more than 600 I think, but unfortunately they are all only available in Japanese. Nevertheless, I still wanted to show you the overview because those are just stunning masterpieces in my opinion. Maybe she's going to come out with an English translation in the future, let's hope so. Now this video is going to be the first part of a series that I'm calling Knitting Around the World. I really like the global aspect of knitting and the global knitting community, and I would love to feature a new country with its knitting patterns and designers around every month. So if you have any suggestions which country I should pick next, please leave a comment and let me know. Until next time, bye guys!